Right, welcome to game number 1 between our good friend msrm in TANC Causeway playing as Infernals against Snoxtar, the number 1 seeded player. Finish 5-0 in the Swiss stage. This is for the semifinals. It is a best of 3. And they're starting on TANC Causeway. It is very interesting to see TANC Causeway become a more frequent map. I've seen a lot of players start to pick TANC Causeway and do interesting things and get into like the mid game. I remember watching Titan way back in one of the first few alphas, and it usually was a little bit of a throw map. Like, you didn't really know what to do with TANC Causeway, and you would play it and maybe you'll get a good strategy and stuff like that. But now I see more and more players pick TANC Causeway. Its pick rate has been going up. Yeah, Broken has been played to death by a lot of people. Yeah, Boneyard, just because Frost Giant told me, hey, we don't want this map in a competitive setting yet. That is why it's not in TANC. But the moment that it is allowed, I'll definitely go for it. Indeed, I think a lot of people have been starting to have a very set group of maps that they very much like to play in competitive matches. I've seen people who always try to get a secluded grove in there, people who always want to get a TANC Causeway there. Theory, I think, was one of the first people who very regularly went for TANC Causeway as one of his maps. Indeed, I think people are figuring out the first few minutes of TANC Causeway, and that is leading up to some interesting middle games. Because you actually, one of the interesting things about this map is that it's actually very tight, in the sense that you don't get, like, all of this area would be very accessible areas in something like Broken Crown, but you can see here that it is blocked by forest. It is on a high ground, on a double high ground at that, and then a triple high ground for this base. So like, your fourth natural expansion is very far, but also very well established in terms of protection. And I think people are starting to look at how can you develop something in TANC Causeway. But right now it seems like Snoxtar is developing a very good offensive here. He gets a number of fiends to advance, and now just a bunch of guns that are creating problems here. Now pulling back and into the center of the map. Another interesting thing is that there is nothing special about the center of the map. In Secluded Grove, you have the extra base. In Broken Crown, you have the resource camps at either side. Here, the only thing, the blue and red. Oh, sorry, the UI is fucked here. Give me a moment. It should fix in a second, hopefully. Let me update that. There we go. Apologies, the UI was not working correctly. We have Snoxtar on the red and msrm on the blue. So big engagement now with for Snoxtar, who's pushing forward here. Oh, it broke again. That's very annoying. Let me double check this for a second. Oh, I think I know what's happening. We're probably gonna have to go with old school. I'll probably have to go with old school stuff. Give me a second here. I'll have to fix this some other way. So there we go. So have that there. Apologies for the little delay. Just a tiny bit of fixed live. There we go. There we go. Whew. Sorry for that one. There we go. Hey, have fun watching Dune. I haven't watched it yet, so don't spoil me on it. I wonder why Blue didn't recall the Doombringer. Very good question. I didn't get to catch it, so. Just left one gaunt. Yeah, I think both players have entered the 7-minute mark here in... Oh, they GG, I think. Right? Pretty sure they GG'd. Because they didn't saw any aggression. Yeah, they GG'd out. So second map is going to be Jagged. Go here. Blue 1. Thank you. So we'll go ahead and jump this. Snoxtar, Infernal versus Infernal. Go. And I'll update it here as well. All right, so we are headed now to the Jagged Maw, the silly map. So we have here in the blue MSRM as our Infernal player down here. And our other Infernal player is Snoxtar on the top. Of course, Jagged Maw is a clown fiesta, as Garlic Toast says in the chat. Indeed, it is always a silly map, a whimsical map, whatever way you want to call it. It's always full of surprises. I never quite know what's gonna be happening with it. So we're gonna have to wait and see what these players are cooking up. So we have an Item Vault and a Conclave immediately going towards that way. There is an Imp advancing now. And we're gonna see where he's gonna be dropping. Is Snoxtar gonna be going for the old classic of getting a Shroudstone Tower up and using that to get the speed camps? It seems like he is, which is fairly dangerous if your opponent's strategy is to grab the siege camp. We are basically exchanging a few extra fiends, unless he's also gonna be sending another imp down into the bottom. Hey there, Theory. Welcome in, welcome in. I believe if you're here, you might have your next match ready with your opponent waiting for you in the semifinals. Or you lost and, and Don Ilya is the one advancing. I haven't checked. We'll have to see what happens there. So there is a Shroudstone Tower to get the speed camp. And on it goes with that. And on the other side, you can see this is going to be the other strategy. To take the siege camp here. And then push on. So the Vision Camp is going to see this. And I wonder how Snoxtar is going to react to it. What he'll do in response. Maybe he'll just run the fiends into the main. That could very well be the action at play here, as he's still working through the siege camp. Resource camp now down as well. Bellhawks are going to provide a little bit of a few more fiends going. Brood comes out and it's going to kill one of the fiends, but the rest are going to be here. And now there is a full siege camp going the way of Snoxtar here. And Snoxtar is just going to walk into the base and he's going to hit the imps. He has one gaunt to do it. There it is. The one gaunt is going to get surrounded though. Hits a couple of imps before it dies. But Snoxtar fully trades out. And now there is a siege camp advancing onto the Shroudstone Tower and it's going to get killed. Very quickly too. Very good. Those tank imps. So the siege is unable to continue. It gets denied. But there is also a big force. Somewhat big force. Coming from MSRM. That could prove quite painful here. Good engagement here for Snoxtar. Gets the guns, only loses one of his own. He might be thinking about cleaning that siege camp on his side now. On the other side, MSRM is expanding. He has to wait until the siege camp is back up. So Snoxtar feeling quite safe at the moment. They didn't split in manually in time with the brute. Unfortunately, those fiends are gonna be a low health. And now a full fight will develop with those sieges. We'll have to wait and see what happens here. On it marches. The fiends, the gaunts, the brute, and finally the siege camp. It seems like MSRM had an idea to go and attack that, but thinks better of it. Will stay back. Shroudstone Towers are now pulled back and up. One even on the resource camp. No, just waiting for the siege to get into position. He's gonna get the heal camp as well. And a bunch of Shroudstone Towers just moving over into the next section. Here comes the big fight. Siege is gonna start. The fiends are gonna get whittled down by the Shroudstone Towers. Guns pushing forward. They get hits onto the Fellhawk. The siege is doing work back there, killing the Shroudstone Towers as quickly as possible. And Shroudstone Manifestation goes down to clean up the remaining guns. Sieges are gonna be denied once again. MSRM is well protected with all of his Shroudstone Towers. As we head into the 7-minute mark, this is when a gun drop could be happening for the side of Snoxtar. It would be a very good timing, as his opponent just spent a lot of Shroudstones, a lot of resources, including imps, trying to get these Shroudstones up. There is another drop also coming, so both players are now trying to do this, but Snoxtar's timing might be just good enough here to not only get a hit here, but also force the pullback on the side of MSRM. He doesn't have enough units to deal with this naturally. Oh, and it brings back with a recall, but I don't know if it's gonna be able to defend this. The drop comes back to the imps, and Infest is going down now for his opponent's guns, and this could be a very good play for Snoxtar. Gets a few more fiends out into the field. They're gonna start attacking. They need to kill that extra fiend. There we go. Guns are dead. Brutes are very low health. This is an excellent strike by the side of Snoxtar. Getting a number of imps killed. forcing the opponent gun drop to not happen, to delay it further and further, and now just moving away. But a siege camp is back up now, and it could prove devastating for the side of Snoxtar if the full push comes around. Here's then the Doombringer making its way through. But Snoxtar is prepared. He has 2 brutes there, ready to meet it. But a lot of Fellhawks. If these Fellhawks die and they become fiends, this could be very bad. But they are powerful enough in big numbers to deny it. The expansion then is what's open. But the Shroudstone Tower is also going to be able to deny that. No good places to drop, and a drop on the other side is also coming here. Snoxtar needs to be careful. He doesn't want to lose the Doombringer early on a fight. Third is going up, and I think msrm is looking for it. He thinks it's coming on the expansion for the Ethereum, but it's actually coming in for the Luminite on the other side. Shards of Manifestation going down to seal the deal. But the third, I wonder if it got spotted or not. We simply don't know at this time. Vision camp once again for the side of Snoxtar. He really wants to have vision over this area. He doesn't want it to fall in the hands of msrm. Now pushing and kiting this little area. Oh, so many hits. So this one Doombringer, who is very, very low health, is going to recall back into one of the bases, the expansion, and try to get more white health to sustain damage into the future. Third expansion coming. Speed camp is getting cleaned up as well by the side of Snoxtar. And now both siege camps are available, and Snoxtar could try to use the Doombringer to get both of them at an opportune timing here. But instead decides to go for the healing camp, I guess. I don't know if he's gonna clean the third. Sees there is no Luminite third, but there is a Ethereum third that he could be going and munching on. Slightly protected by the Shroudstone Tower, so it's not the easiest to engage. But on the other side, it seems like msrm doesn't have what he needs to protect the third Ethereum expansion. There is a drop coming at the back, and it has a Magnodon on it. The Magnodon tramples. It doesn't have stun, but it deals good damage, and it forces Snoxtar to pull back, leave our good friend msrm alone. And now both players engaging on their middle of the game. The Doombringer drops are no longer going to be one of the threatening factors, unless it comes at a very good timing, because all of the bases have been reinforced with a number of Shroudstones, making it very difficult for Doombringers to be the threat they usually are. It is now going to evolve into the Magnodons, and being able to manage their location, their trample, getting a Shadow Clef to unlock their stun ability as well. A very, very unopportune match. I'm gonna snooze the ads for 5 minutes. They were about to play, but don't worry, you're not gonna get ads. So, a Magnodon drop about to happen here for msrm. It goes down. There is a trample. Infest going down too, but it doesn't get anything, unfortunately. And now has to pull back a few Animus down the drain. He's at 100 or thereabouts. So not enough for a lot of things. He can do a Shroudstone Manifestation if he wants to as well. He is going to deny this fourth, and he actually doesn't cancel here. The Shroudstone Tower is going to end up losing an imp onto that. And the Magnodons just being annoying. They actually kill another one without a cancel. 2 imps destroyed on this fourth. And just now is able to destroy the Doombringer. Actually, losing the Doombringer here is a very bad thing. It means Snoxtar is now without the pressure. He can just move on. He can push into the siege and start taking those sieges. both players then on 4 bases. But MSRM is prioritizing the Ethereum over another Luminite base like Snoxtar. Snoxtar is instead doing long distance mining with his imps onto both bases, which is doable. It just means you get it a little bit late, but doable. Wide open is the stage here for Snoxtar. He could even think about getting the other siege camp to try and solidify his hold onto this aggression. The imps are gonna get spotted going into the double expansion, the double Luminite. But now the siege continues to advance. The Charleston towers are not going to be as powerful. Charleston manifestation goes down. The Magmadons for Snoxtar advance. They are trampling on to his opponent. Siege is going to clear out the few remaining Charlestons that are here. And now it is down to MSRM and his Magmadons to try and sustain this. Both Magmadons end up falling down. Doombringer is not able to do a lot about it. The Hellborns also go knocked down, and the siege continues to go. This is a open gate for Snoxtar to advance and get the advantage here on game number 2. GG has been called on game number 1, and MSRM taps out. It is going to be Snoxtar. On game number 2, it is going to be Snoxtar tying up the series. So I'm going to update that in a second, and I have to run 3 minutes of ads. Don't worry, you're not going to miss anything. I'll run the 3 minutes of ads and we'll be right back. Great stuff. Let me update the scores to 1-1. I'll grab... Yes. The plebs getting hit with the ads, yeah. If you don't want to see ads, of course, there's always the option to subscribe, which I very, very much appreciate if you want to do that. And yeah, it seems like we're gonna be heading into Titans for game number 3, which makes quite a bit of sense when you consider that MSRM won that map on 7 minutes. It is gonna be on Snoxtar to decide what he wants to do for this game to keep himself alive, to stay on this one. No broken, no secluded. It is the realm of the Titans and the Jagged Moss here on game number 3 between MSRM on the blue here on the bottom left and Snoxtar on the top right. Both of them here in the semifinals of the Alpha Navigators Cup, European, Middle East, and Africa finals. Snoxtar is came into this match with a 5-0 win. It's a 5-0 victory on the Swiss stage. Huge to go 5-0 against opponents like Theory, against opponents like Captain Alex, like Donelia. It's a huge achievement, but now MSRM is screwing on the pressure. He won game number 1. We then went into a Jagged Maw that wasn't a particularly silly game. It of course has the silliness on the first few minutes, but then developed into a big macro game that Snoxtar was able to go with and eventually using the siege, yes, but eventually won on the merits of his production. And now we're going back to TANC Causeway, the map MSRM won in under 7 minutes over Snoxtar, trying to put the pressure once again. We see this starting position for MSRM that we saw the first time around, with the item vault blocking the pathing for the larger speed camp unit, and now finally cleaning out the last of that one. And on the other side, it is Snoxtar who actually loses his brute on this fight. MSRM does not, but now opts to manually split it so that it has more white health. He's also going to be using this to scout his opponent's base. He might actually be able to deal quite a bit of damage here. The Gaunt is going to get attacked and killed. Sure, you lose a Fiend, but that is a price that you are more than willing to pay. An Imp goes down too. And on the other side, we see Snoxtar, who has a big population of fiends now. He did lose his gaunt at some point, but he was able to kill a good number of units, and he actually got the vision camp first to get a few more fiends. On this side, MSRM fiends are still being an annoyance, although they are much smaller now, fewer in numbers. And they're going to be returning to their positions. Snoxtar saw that the vision camp has not been taken and will actually have the benefit of taking both vision camps in this map. Beyond the resources, it is nice to have vision. You have vision particularly on what some players decided to take as their third and fourth expansion here. And it seems like MSRM does not want Snoxtar to have that vision, but Snoxtar is going to be pushing with a few fiends. He's getting the inkling that this might be an expansion. Oh, and he found the item vault. This item vault is going to go down and is going to force our friend MSRM to build a new one. He also loses a brute, and he doesn't manually split it either to give it the white health that it needs. The extra speed can be very brutal here. MSRM taking the corner to try and reduce the engagement. It does lose a number of fiends, Snoxtar, in this fight, but overall, the numbers tell a story, and that story is that Snoxtar wants to roll over with a big army and push forward. The Felhogs are going to provide a nice little freebie for some fiends. There is a Shroud Stone in the expansion that is going to keep it protected, but without a core engagement here, this could be very bad for MSRM, and Snoxtar is kind of snowballing on this one. The guns die, they all produce fiends. GG gets cold, and MSRM is